Welcome to the world of legend. Are you ready to go through the mythical moment when night turns to day, when evils go away and the journey starts? The Great Pyramid of Khufu was built on a rocky plateau in northern Egypt, on the western side of the Nile, which had great influence on Egyptian civilization. Although what we have today in the site is the remains of a larger complex, it is the only one of the ancient wonders to have survived to modern times. The pyramid was constructed in around 2600 BCE, which means approximately 2 millenniums before any of the other wonders were completed. Khufu's pyramid is possibly the most massive single structure ever constructed on the earth. Additionally, it stands taller than the other wonders and held the title of the world's tallest building for nearly 4,000 years after its completion. Little is known about King Khufu, who built the complex, except a note from Greek historian Herodotus. Still, we are not sure whether laborers or slaves were employed in the construction, though assuming that 800 tons of stone can be placed every day, some think that the construction took 20 years, and don't forget, they didn't use wheels or metal tools. Alexandria Lighthouse was completed around 240 BCE. Construction began around 280 BCE. It was in Alexandria, a city founded by Alexander the Great around the Nile on Egyptian lands. The lighthouse was first commissioned by Ptolemy, who was the Greek commander ruling the city after Alexander the Great's takeover of Egypt. Construction actually started. Construction continued during the reign of his son, Ptolemy II, and took more than 3 decades. The building, which is an archetype of modern-day lighthouses, was constructed in 3 levels, each sloping slightly inside. According to Hermann Tiersk, the bottom was square, the next octagonal, and the top cylindrical. At night, a wide spiral ramp led to the top, where a fire lightened. This structural solution could help them build up a 110-meter lighthouse, which is the second tallest man-made marvel on the earth at that time. The lighthouse was destroyed in the 1300s by an earthquake, and in 1994 an archaeologist found its ruins in the water off Pharos Island. The Egyptian government built an underwater park based on these discoveries, where divers could see the many lighthouse ruins. The statue of Zeus in Olympia, Greece, is one of the most precious works of the ancient Greek civilization, which made countless contributions to humanity. The god was depicted seating on an elegant cedarwood throne ornamented with ebony, ivory, gold, and precious stones. The statue was nearly 12 meters high and plated with gold and ivory. Also, he holds a scepter in one hand and Nike, the goddess of victory, in the other, while sitting on his remarkable throne. Thus, not only in terms of their height, but also massiveness, the statue is modest in size compared to the other 6 wonders. According to myth, Roman Emperor Caligula supposedly demanded that the statues be removed and taken to him in Rome, and then Zeus struck Caligula and was assassinated in 41 CE. Before that removal, and the statue of Olympia started laughing at his victory. The temple was demolished in 426 CE, and the statue, of which no exact copies exist, may have been destroyed at the time or in a fire 50 years later in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. Considering the fact that it's built in 280 BCE and destroyed in 226 BCE due to an earthquake, Colossus of Rhodes is the least surviving structure on the list of 7 wonders. The statue depicting Helios, the god of sun, was built in Greek island Rhodes. According to legend, the army commanded by Macedonian leader Demetrius Poliorcetes tried to conquer the island. Unexpectedly, local people of the island defended their territory and decided to show their gratitude to their god. The bronze figure, which stood 70 cubits or 33 meters tall, cost 300 talents, which equals to the same weight in silver, and took at least 12 years to complete. According to Pliny the Elder, a Roman writer from the 1st century CE, since this height was groundbreaking at the time, it was given the name Colossus rather than statue, as in statue of Zeus. Although the destruction was caused by an earthquake in 226 BCE, the Rhodesians kept the remnants on the ground because they believed that removing them or even touching them would bring misfortune. The bronze was seized by Arab invaders in 654 CE and sent to Syria, where it was bought by a salvage dealer. According to Byzantine texts, over 900 camels were needed to transport. Halicarnassus Mausoleum, also known as Halicarnassus, the tomb of Mausolus, king of Caria, in southeastern Asia Minor. Between 353 and 351 BCE, Artemisa II, his sister and widow, built it as his capital city of Halicarnassus, which was the capital of the small regional kingdom of Caria. The monument was practically square according to the Roman author Pliny the Elder, with a total perimeter of 125 meters. It was encircled by 36 columns with a 24-step pyramid on top, topped by a 4-horse marble chariot. For the 16 centuries, it towered over the city's ruins. The columns were then damaged by a succession of earthquakes, sending the bronze chariot plummeting to the ground. Only the bare base of the structure remained identifiable by 1404. While these ruins are in Turkey, some ornaments or statues are exhibited at the British Museum. The Temple of Artemis was located in Ephesus, the west coast of Turkey. The Lydian king Croesus founded the Great Temple around 550 BCE and was restored after being cremated by a madman named Herostratus in 356 BC. The temple was 129.5 meters long and 68.6 meters wide, almost double the size of Athens' Parthenon from the 5th century BCE. It had 127 columns with a height of 18.3 meters and a diameter of 1.2 meters. On all 4 sides, the columns were grouped in a double row, with 8 or 9 columns on the short sides and 20 or 21 columns on the long sides. The Antipater of Sidon describes the temple as, "I have set eyes on the wall of lofty Babylon, on which is a road for chariots, and the statue of Zeus by Alphus, and the hanging gardens and the Colossus of the sun, and the huge labour of the high pyramids, and the vast tomb of Mausolus. But when I saw the house of Artemis that mounted to the clouds, those other marvels lost their brilliancy, and I said, low apart from Olympus, the sun never looked aught on so grand. Although it was renovated for the third time in 2067 after being damaged by the Goths' invasion, the temple was utterly destroyed by Christians in CE 401 without further restoration or construction. Even though its existence, location, and also description was unclear, today we are closer to understanding the enigma about the Hanging Garden of Babylon. Traditionally, the second king, Nebuchadnezzar, was thought to have built the miracle for his Iranian wife, who longed for the lush gardens and mountain views of her homeland. But among the Babylonian texts and the ruins within the ancient kingdom, no one could find a clue. Oxford academician Dr. Stephanie Daly suggested that this building was built under the reign of another king, Sennacherib, the Assyrian king, elsewhere and in the 7th century BCE. A terraced garden supported by a sloped topography, watered with a water-raising screw, an early use of the Archimedes screw, would correspond to what it looked like. The reason why the marvel disappeared is not something proven, but is not surprising for such a delicate structure not to survive in Mesopotamia, where it is a popular destination for powerful invaders of the era, including Alexander the Great.